Hello and welcome back to the ministry. And today we are completing, hopefully, what I started in the Enchanted series. I don't know how much time I have, not just on this phone, but in the atmosphere. So we're going to try to wrap up because we were close to the end. We just have a few more scenes that we had to get through that I needed to complete and walk us through. I'm gonna try to get it done in 2 gigs. But continuing where he left off, the lawyer, he's enamored with her. She is everything he ever wanted, and he's realizing that. But she still is looking for Edward. And lo and behold, here comes Edward. I don't even know how Edward got in the house, to be honest with you. I don't know who let him in. He was in his living room. And here he comes, and Edwards comes for her, and he dances around and spins with her, and she's all happy to see him slightly. And it leaves the lawyer standing there like, oh, I guess he was looking for her. So, with that being said, he's left with this element, but the prince, he's like, I must vanquish you because of this, that, and the other. And she's like, no, don't kill him. Don't. You mustn't kill him. And she comes into the realization, she's like, I need more from you. Which brings me into the element of she's discovered at this point who she is. She's discovered that this man challenges her to be a better version of herself. And she is now looking at the prince in the fullness of the manifestation of who the prince is. Meaning she's seeing him in the fullest of the reality of who he is next to this man. And she's saying, I need to see if what I thought I was getting into was what I actually am getting into, because now I see different. A lot of us are Proverb 31 women, and because we are 31 women, that means we understand the word a little bit differently. Let's see if I can open this up, because I had it open the last time we were here. And I might not, because I'm getting a blank screen. Ooh, yeah, I gotta open Proverbs 31. And she's discovered in all that she had to do helping the lawyer, she discovered her heart. She discovered how her heart was towards this man. She discovered that she will do good for this man and not evil. She's discovered that she's been a merchant in this place that she is. She was able to make clothing and do all of these types of things. She was able to keep the household during the day or night, and take care of food, take care of all of this, considering all of the fields and all of these types of things, going out with him, and she's considered all of these things, the strength that's in her own hands, and her own desires within herself, her desires to help others, the desires to reach out hands and do things for the needy, the things in which as she touched people in this atmosphere, meeting the homeless man and all this kind of stuff, having tapestries and coverings and clothing that she has put together with her own hands, that she maketh the linen and selleth it. She's discovered herself. She's been able to gain wisdom from this man, and she's expanded herself even in her own kindness. And she's looked well upon this household, taking care of this man and his daughter. And she realized, what am I leaving this for? For you? What's here? That she could literally enjoys the daughter. She enjoys that environment. She enjoys the excellences of the favor and all of these things. That she's more than just beauty, which she was always more than beauty, but she's discovered it for herself. And the fruit of her hands, to be able to cook for them, to be able to do all of these things for that household. And now she sees this man again and she's like, I need to know more about you. Who are you? I want to go on a date. And he's like, you want to go on a date? What do you mean? We just go off and get married? And she's like, I need to know more. Let's do a little bit more than that. So what ends up happening is she gets up and the lawyer gets dressed to take his daughter to school, and they all meet outside, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna go on a date with him, and goodbye. And the prince is already convinced. It's like, I got my woman, so this is going to be the last I'll see of you, and goodbye, be valiant, da da da. And she senses her sadness, the daughter senses her sadness, the man is sad, and here's the only person happy in this scenario is the son, while his mother is looking through the looking glass at him through a water bottle that a person was passing with, and sees him with her and has a conniption fit. And that's when she determines, oh, y'all can't do nothing without me, so I'm gonna come down there and do it myself, because y'all have not killed this woman yet. There are people that have been against you for the longest time that they like, look, y'all ain't did nothing I asked y'all to do. I'm about to expose. Your enemies are about to expose themselves for who they are and what they've actually been doing before you. Because they're like, ain't nothing else got it. I got to do this thing myself. Because look, what you think that you going to sit up here and do? What? Let me come there and take care of it myself. Because y'all, evidently, I send the people and y'all ain't doing nothing. And that's the way your enemy is feeling right now. They're like, I haven't been able to take her out. I haven't been able to do it. I've tried to block. I've tried to do all of this to prevent this from coming to pass. And the irony is this that I did not understand. She wasn't in love with her son. And even when she came to the realization of that, she still wanted to kill her. I didn't get it. And it wasn't, and the fact of the matter was, it wasn't that she wanted to kill her. She wanted to just destroy everything she loved. I didn't get that. It's like, some of your enemies just want to destroy everything that matters to you. Even if you don't even want the person that they think that you want. Some of them just are like, you got the spot, you got the career, you got the this, you got that air about you. I gotta take you out. You don't even want the guy. I gotta take you out. So she goes out on a date with the guy, spends the entire day. She goes across the Brooklyn Bridge, and he's like, he's still trying to figure out, what is this date thing? What are we doing? So I guess I just go out with you. And basically, like when you go out with a duddish dude that just, he has no substance, he has nothing. And you're sitting there like, I'm in comparison of this dude to the guy that I've spent and had substance with, and ain't nothing here. There's nothing here. And now that I realize there ain't nothing here, I'm really not enjoying this. And he's like, come on, we can go since this date is almost over. Let's go back to the land and get married. And she's like, a date can last for however long you desire. However long we want. But there's a ball tonight. Let's go to the ball before we leave. And he's like, okay. He'll do anything she says. Some people in your life, they would just listen to whatever instructions you give to them. They're yes sirs. And sometimes that is what That's what your God ordained spouse has been dealing with. People that'll just say, okay, yeah, all right, whatever. What? And some people in your life, they'll do the exact same thing to you. You're like, where's the substance here? Oh my God. I got depth. Where is it in you? This is all you want for your life? This is it? That's all? That's everything. And this is everything you want? And they're like, yeah. And you can't, they don't even see it. So she goes back and she meets with the daughter, and the daughter goes dressed as a fairy, mind you, takes her to her father's credit card and says, use this. And she's like, oh. So they go to every store and buy up all this stuff. And I'm trying to figure out what they bought, because she only had on a dress and a cloak. So, and they went to the salon, but what was all the bags? I'm like, they went to 15 stores. I'm like, I think the daughter bribed her, because you're like, oh, she'll get me anything I want. Because she don't know no better. Some people will use you. They poor little girl. You gotta be careful of kids. They will use you. The Lord has shown me in some dreams that little children, and sometimes what the enemy will do, he'll come to you as a child, because they seem the most innocent. But what the Lord has shown me in 2 separate dreams I had is the child, literally, this is just a side note since we're talking about the kid, that they'll come at you innocently, that you'll see them as a child, and they will literally viciously beat you up. An air of godliness, but no God in them. People will come at you pretending and perpetuating the illusion that they are Christians. A child of God. No God in them. But as a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man. Side note. So, she goes, gets her hair done and all this types of stuff. And the daughter's like, well, it would be really great. You did things with me that my mommy probably would have done. And she's saying, well, you'll have a mommy soon, thinking of Nancy, because she's still not putting it together. But even her heart is starting to feel like this is where I'm supposed to be, though she's yet to admit it, just like the lawyer. So the next scene, we're already automatically at the party. Some steps are going to be skipped. The getting ready, the preparation, so on and so forth. You already done did that. Some of us are sitting there thinking, I got to go through all these extra steps. And God's like, look, you ain't got to go through the preparation. We already done did that part. You done prayed, fasted, you did everything. Get up off your knees. You about to be there. You've been in the waiting room before the blessing. God showed me in one dream, and I'm going to admit this, he showed me that I've been in the preparatory space, meaning you're not in the waiting room no more. You're not even in the room to prepare to get dressed. You already dressed. You already got it. You done. You're in the hallway before the doors open and the wedding procession starts. That's how close you are. You done skipped all that preparation part. You done. You're there. The ball. He's already there with Nancy, and they're dancing, and they're enjoying the fun of the environment, because it's not something they naturally normally would do, and they're just enjoying being part of and following the ordinance of the ball and just having fun. And then Elsa walks in with the prince. And here's a twist that they did. Elsa normally wears garments that fit a ball-like environment. Even the clothing that she makes fits. The daughter and her went and picked up a dress that was modern, that fit that world. So she stood out against everybody in that room. You have an element about you that stands out, that the second you walk in, your God-ordained spouse will see you, notice you, and be like, oh my God, look, she finally fits. because she finally changed. Your garments are changing. Awake, awake, O Zion. Put on your pretty clothes. Your garments have changed. She was wearing a garment that fit that world, and she looked good in it. Her hair, her everything fit that world. She was no longer who she used to be. Her mindset had changed. She was no longer that person. So they end up meeting in the middle of the floor, and an exchange is made. This is like the Vashti to Esther, the Boaz to the Kingdom Redeemer. And it's an interaction of all four at once. She comes into dancing with the lawyer because they, for some reason, switch partners. Because the dance that was required, they said you have to dance with somebody that you were not with. And in the midst of the dance, a song is playing that talks about being in order with something that doesn't fit. I can't think of the name of the song, but the lyrics and the words were talking about you not being in order with what fits you, but you know that you belong right here. She came to that realization. Your God ordained spouse is coming into the realization that where he is, what he's dealing with, and where everything that he understood is not what it was meant to be. And the same thing for yourself. You are coming into alignment and agreement with the place that you are being prepared to be launched into, and you no longer fit where you are. You no longer fit that place that you once were because you belong there. And you both are coming to that agreement, and alignment is actually happening. After the dance, they separated, and she was ready to go because she was like, I can't stay any longer. She couldn't bear to watch him with Nancy because she thinks that he's in love with Nancy. So as she's preparing to leave, I don't know. Oh, the prince went to go get their coats, and as he went off, this is where the queen comes in, dressed as the same old hag, but in reality form. And it's like, you still ain't getting it? And gives her the apple, but in her sadness, pause. Your enemies want to get you in such a twisted headspace. The past week has been a level of heaviness and warfare that's meant to wear you out to a level that when the offer for what it is that they want to offer you, that you will make a short-term decision, or shall I say a long-term decision in a short-term scenario. She bit the apple and passed out in front of everyone. The prince the guy that she's in love with runs up and tells Nancy, call 911. And she falls out. He puts her on this chaise lounge chair that was conveniently right there, and he doesn't know what to do. But here comes the lackey that worked for the queen, and he's saying, "True love's kiss." So he's like, "What?" One, all these things are going to happen very quickly. There's a lot of things that are preparing to happen in your life that are going to happen so fast that it's not even going to be time to think. They did not have time to think, oh my God, what am I going to do? We got to wait for 911. We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this. And all that. It was no time for steps. The guy said, true love's kiss. And then the prince, he caught it. He was like, let me kiss her. So he jumps and he goes and he's like, let me kiss her. And he kisses her and nothing happens. Counterfeit will never acquire the reaction that the real thing will. The counterfeit can't wake up the parts within you that belong to your God ordained spouse. He can't bring about the manifestation that's necessary because it ain't in him. It's not there. And because it's not there, it's not going to work. The kiss ain't going to work. And They don't got time for the other guy to argue. Oh my God, I don't, it's not me. How can it be? And he's like, no, you got to kiss her because it's the clock is literally ticking down to 12 and it's already started counting the 12 seconds down to midnight. Kiss her. This man that is God is sending into your life ain't gonna have time to be sitting there trying to figure out whether he wants you or not. When God says go, it's go. It's not, oh, this, I have time for this thing to figure itself out and we can fall in. No, he's going to be like, I know what I want. This is what I want. I want to be with you. And you're going to go off and you're going to do whatever it is that the Lord needs for you to do. And it's going to happen quick. It's going to happen quick. All these things happen within a few minutes. And he ended up having to kiss her. When he kissed her, she woke up. The queen freaks out and says, y'all want a show? And then she turns into the dragon. They go, instead of her grabbing the woman, she grabs the one that she's in love with. The person, the witch, whoever it is that is operating against you, they're operating in a spirit that now that they've been figured out, they've been found out, they cannot win this. There's no way. I'm going to destroy anything I can destroy on my way out, though. Because they're going to be a story about me. They're that in a history books, they're going to talk about me. Even no, y'all ain't going to have it be that it ain't. No. They're going to be a speech on me. Y'all ain't going to just go off and be happily ever after, y'all. Y'all going to hear about me. That's the way the narcissist is. It has to be about me. That's why in murder case stories that we see on television, they always say that the one thing that they will never do when they want to display a murder case on television is they don't want to give the killer credit because it boosts their morale and makes them do more, and it will frustrate them if they cannot get validation for what they've done. Okay, so what ends up happening is she freaks out. She drags him outside as a dragon, takes him all the way up to the top of the roof, and then the top breaks off. He ends up sliding. The girl takes the sword that belonged to the prince and tosses it, and it miraculously pins him to a pole while she goes and falls to her death. And her and him end up running into each other because as he comes loose, he slips and falls directly into her, and they slide all the way down, but there's some type of railing that blocks them from falling all the way down. Magical kiss. They end up going inside. Nancy, when Elise, what's her name? No, Elsa runs out with the sword, she drops her shoe. And the prince comes in and he sees the shoe on the floor near Nancy and he puts it on her foot. It fits. Now, you know the counterfeit, the shoe don't never fit the counterfeit. But in this case, it did. But it fit for him to be with Nancy. Sometimes the people that are coming against you, your ex and they ex and all of that, sometimes they just need to get with each other and leave y'all alone. Because the element that you loved so much about your ex and the thing that had your god ordained spouse spun about their ex is the same elements that all the exes have to do is get together with each other. Because they had the same characteristics. And it could be a match made in fairy tale heaven. Because that's exactly where they went. They went right back to the land and he married Nancy. Came back to reality and the story ends with her dancing with the lawyer and the daughter happily ever after in the real world. And that's Michelle. That's the end of the word. If I have any extra points, I'll bring them up in another video because I don't have that much space on this phone. So until next time, much love, faith, peace, and blessings. Bye bye.